Hello, welcome to another video and welcome to my December TBR. I don't know what I'm going to read in December. So December's kind of the time of year where you're like, right, I'm going to catch up with all of my goals and I'm going to make sure I've finished everything, blah, blah, blah. And yeah, I'd love to do that, but also I don't wanna. Plus in December, I'm doing Vlogmas, which means I've got a video going out every day in December. And while I have planned my whole month out, so I know like what my plans are for weekly vlogs throughout December, I don't 100% know what I'm gonna be reading. I mean, I kind of do, but I kind of don't. So yeah, basically, I've got a big stack of books next to me and I don't know which of these I'm going to read and which of these I'm not going to read. But we're gonna go through and I'm going to kind of try and explain a little bit more about what my plans are going to be in December and like where these books could potentially fit if I decide to read them. Because again, I feel like there are going to be I feel like I've got too many projects that I want to do and not enough time. So let's just see how it's going to work. So let's start off with, I think the only book that's like I've got to read in December, and this might change because I know I am getting some like work coming through for January, so there may be books that I have to read for January for work and I'm going to have to obviously add those ones on. But the only one at the moment that I think I have to work on, that I have to read in December, is Red Country by Jo Abercrombie. This is the third standalone, or book 6 in the first Law Along, in the first Law universe, and I'm reading it for the first Law Along, hosted by Becca at Becca and the Books. That felt very complicated. So the live show for this one will be in like the middle of January, so if I don't read it in December, it's not the end of the world. It's not too big. It is 450 pages. Tiny. Love it. So if I don't read it in December, it's fine. I'll read it in the first couple of weeks of January. But this is the only one that I think I kind of have to get read for January. So that is going to be the first one on the TBR. I've got Bella sat right here in front of me, so I don't really know where I've got space to put things. In November, I was wanting to catch up on like all of my annual challenges, and I did 50% of them. So I read some books from my NetGalley TBR, yay. I went through my self-destructing list, yay. I was going to read things from my 23 and 23, didn't do that, don't care. That list is never going to get completed. I've got like 18 books on it. It's fine, ignoring it, forgetting about it. But I wanted to do my final instalment of Do I Know My Own Reading Taste and reading my 5-star predictions. I haven't got round to it. I'm filming the vlog at the moment, but I've had basically like a last minute drop in that I needed to work on for work. It's the 4th book in the series. I've only read books 1 and 2, so I've got to catch up on the series because there's 3 novellas in there as well. So I've got to catch up on the series before I can read book 4, which I need to get read ideally next week too, because I'm working on it. So my 5-star prediction video is not going to be going ahead in November, but I kind of would like to do it in December instead. So if I do decide to do that, I'm going to be reading Baby Love by Jacqueline Wilson and Illuminate by Jay Kristoff and Amy Kaufman. If I have time, also Fortuna Sworn by KJ Sutton. I always forget her name, so apologies if I got it wrong there. I think that all 3 of those are going to be 5 stars, so I would like to read them for a 5-star prediction video, but again, whether or not I actually do this 5-star prediction video is a whole other kettle of cheese, so we will see. So then we move on to December, and in December, what we're going to read? Christmas books. So I've got 3 physical Christmas books that I would like to read for a reading blog. They are Make Your Mine This Christmas by Lizzie Huxley Jones, Window Shopping by Tessa Bailey, and The Christmas Bookshop by Jenny Colgan. Again, whether I do read all of these is a whole different matter. but these are just the only physical like Christmas romances that I own. I do have a few on ebook, so I think I've got one called The Naughty and Nice Clause on my NetGalley, and I've got Stay Another Day by Juno Dawson, which I don't think is a romance, I'm not sure quite, I think it's more like a contemporary. And then I've also got Murder on the Christmas Express by Alexandra Benedict, Alexandra Benedict, which I would also like to read. So that makes 6 Christmassy books, which is great if I think I'm going to realistically read 6 Christmas books. I also want to read the Goodreads shortlist, probably for fantasy. Obviously I don't know what's going to be on the shortlist because that's not out yet, and when the shortlist is announced, there's only a week to read the books before the winner's announced. So part of me is thinking, is this a really silly plan to try and do in December, and should I push that into the new year and read maybe the whole long list in the new year? Maybe not, maybe just the like 10 books on the short list in the new year. Because the thing is with the Goodreads Choice Awards this year, because they've got in the romantasy category, that's taken out some of the books that I thought be nominated, because I just put everything under fantasy. So there's now kind of 3 categories that I'm interested in, which are fantasy, romantasy, romance. A nice little like bracket there. So I would like to read the shortlist for at least the fantasy and the romance. I think I probably wouldn't read the romantasy ones just because I don't actually recognise most of the titles on there, so I think I'm probably going to give them a miss. But with the books that are on those lists, there are a few that are in series, which means I've got to read, which maybe I'm not up to date with. On the long lists, I think I've read about like 4 books on both the fantasy list and the romance list. So while I would love to do that in that week when the shortlist is like announced, I think realistically I'm gonna put that one off and read those books and like have that as like a longer term vlog project in the new year. Probably. We'll see. We've then, and I'm looking at this stack and I'm having regrets immediately. We've then got the pile of books that I haven't read yet, that were on my 7 books in 7 weeks that I wanted to read before the end of the year. And I don't entirely remember what the 7th book on that list was. I'm hoping it was Iron Flame because I've read that. If it wasn't, I have read a grand total of 0 of the books. But I have got 4 of them here, which I think I would want to read in December. They are Daisy Darker by Alice Feeney, Paris Apartment by Lucy Foley, Immortal Longings by Chloe Gong, and A Yellow Face by Rebecca Kwan. So yeah, I would like to get them read in December. I don't think it is realistically going to happen because, like I said, I need help. In January, at the end of January, as you'll probably know, House of Flame and Shadow is coming out, book 3 in the Crescent City series. So I want to reread House of Earth and Blood and House of Sky and Breath. I also kind of want to reread House of A Court of Silver Flames, just because I think that's going to have more crossover content in it and like more clues for book 3 of Crescent City than the rest. Plus I'm not going to read all of Throne of Glass. So they are at least 2, potentially 3 big chunky books, which I'm not going to bring down because they're up there and I can't be bothered. They are there. That's really difficult. So I'm not sure. I could read them both in January again, but I'm quite excited to read them in December and like read them over Christmas. So yeah, all in all, I don't really know what I am reading at the moment. Currently, my TBR, where's Red Country gone, is looking like this. This is really heavy. And I'm not going to read all of them. Absolutely not. That's 11 books, plus 2 Crescent City books, plus there were 2 ebooks that I mentioned. I'm not reading 15 books in December. Like, it is very unlikely to happen. So that's kind of my reading plans. I don't think they're all going to get read, but we will see, evidently, like whether or not anything does get read. Sorry, this was a very, very messy TBR video. If you like this video, please leave me a like, subscribe down below. Please do let me know on the books that I have featured in this video, what ones do I need to read? What do I need to prioritise? Because I don't know. I am stuck. I need help, please. And I'll see you in the next one.